Welcome back to the Total Focus podcast. I'm your host, Paul. Our special guest this week is a former teen Delaware, and she's also a former Ms. Delaware. 2017, Mia Emily is our guest this week. She is the current Earth World title holder 2019. We are so happy to have her on the show. She tells the story about how she struggled with bullying her entire life and how winning the title of Teen Delaware 2014 really helped her change her life and really caused people to look up to her. And she is so thankful for the opportunity to do pageants. And we are so thankful to tell her story and let her really express all the positivities of pageantry. So if you are struggling with bullying, then this is the episode that you should listen to. And welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
I'm having a great day. How's your day going?
It's great, just got off of work, feeling great.
Hey, anytime that you're not working and you get the opportunity just to lay back and relax after hard work, especially with you being a teacher, it's definitely well deserved. I know how hard
Definitely.
you guys work and how little you guys really honestly get paid. So we appreciate
Yeah.
all of your hard work. So
Thank you, thank you. It's really rewarding. Kids are the future, and I try to go back and remember what I was like because I teach fourth grade, and I'm like, man, if I just had a teacher like myself, how different would I be? You know?
fourth,
Just like
oh yeah, but fourth grade's a great age. Like, did you?
fourth grade's like the turning point.
Yeah. Was that a choice? Because fourth grade sounds like a great year because it's before they become little bastards, but like they still,
Definitely.
but they're still like they're still like,
They're still sweet.
yeah, I know. They can they like they're not like mindless little people. Like you can say, please put your stuff away, and they'll do it. Before they get
Exactly.
before they get like first grade, they're like, I don't understand
Anything that's going
anything,
on.
like how to use a pencil sharpener or anything like. But like
Yeah.
by fourth grade, they know how to like go to their classes. They know that the bell rings. It's like
Exactly.
it's like perfect.
It
I,
is perfect because I taught middle school and I love them to death, but I just remember myself in middle school and I was like, I can't do it. I they think they're grown up. They're doing everything that I'm doing. Like now as a 23-year-old, I didn't have like Instagram and Facebook and um TikTok, Musically. I didn't have all that when I was their age, so it's something new that I had to get used to when I taught middle school. And like the cell phone thing, I really didn't have a problem with it, but the schools have this big issue. Um,
yeah.
so it was between that, and then I also worked at a daycare, and I was in the baby room where it was all the infants all the way up to age 2. So I was like, I need something in the middle because I can't. I cannot do that.
Did
Can't
you
do it anymore.
did you decide that after you moved, or were you did you get that fourth grade when you were still in Delaware?
I decided that after I moved, like I said, I love middle school. Um,
Gotcha.
you could talk to them like a grown up. They understood everything that you were saying. You didn't have to repeat yourself more than once unless it's to put away your cell phone. Um, and fourth grade was like a turning point in my life because that's where I started to get bullied at. So I
Really?
just want to, yeah, I got bullied real bad in fourth grade. It was to the point where I was getting called names. People were tripping me in the hallway. But it didn't get really bad until middle school. So I tried to get into either an elementary or a middle school when I moved because I knew that if I could stop it now as while they're in fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh, eighth, it wouldn't continue on into high school like it did for me.
If you're okay with expanding on that, because I've had the interview of interviewing 30 of your colleagues in
Hmm.
Kentucky, and none of them have ever expressed, and we all start the same way when it comes to the podcast, that we start on like what your life was as a young child. None of them ever expressed being bullied, and I was heavily bullied. Um, how do you think that has impacted you? Are you more sensitive to people because of that, or are you more noticeable of certain issues? Like, is that why you're a teacher now, because you were bullied? Like, what?
Yeah, it's definitely why I'm a teacher now because I felt like I had teachers that didn't care and that saw everything that was happening but didn't do anything. It wasn't until my seventh grade year in middle school that I had an art teacher that took me underneath her wing and she saw that I had potential in art and she developed my skills and I was allowed to eat lunch in there instead of eating in the cafeteria where I was getting food thrown in my hair or um my whole lunch tray just slapped out of my hand for no reason. It was like my safe haven. So I always wanted to be a teacher that was like her. And I always said to myself, I was like, man, like, whew, if I didn't have that teacher, what would have happened? And I did try. I was suicidal as a teenager. It didn't start. I didn't start gaining confidence in myself until I started going to Miss Delaware. I started at Miss Delaware America in 2010, and then I started to go to Miss Delaware USA in 2011. Um, and I saw how confident these women were, and they all had a different story, and they were all so beautiful. And I thought to myself, like, I need to do something like that. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I need to do something like that. So I started with dance, I started with theater, and then I ended up in the pageant world, and here I am.
Well, I mean, clearly that was a safe haven, but if it wasn't for that teacher, it sounds like you wouldn't be
Yeah.
here.
If it
So,
wasn't for the teacher, I wouldn't be here, especially for my parents, because they were so understanding of what was going on in my life, and they knew, like, okay, like, are you all right? Um, did anything happen today? My parents knew, and it was the school system that I was in that uh, didn't change and didn't change their policy. Now there's different policies where if something happens, they have to take immediate action. And I'm just so grateful for that because I don't want another 13-year-old trying to take her life.
I mean, it's it's I'm like literally crying for you because I remember when I was in middle school and high school, especially middle school, and they tortured me so much going to one class that they let me attend the
Yeah.
class 5 minutes late so that I could walk to the class by myself.
Mhm.
Um,
But that doesn't feel good either.
no, no,
Cuz
e-
it's like you're being singled out and you can't walk with everybody. So something
exactly.
has to be wrong with you. That's what they were trying to do with me and I was like, "No, I might as well get bullied."
I know, but you proved everyone wrong because you went on and you won a beauty contest because that's what a pageant is, and you
Mhm.
showed that you weren't an ugly duckling and that you were worthy of people's attention. So clearly, everything all their flirts were only to cause you to be a better person. So clearly, those intentions weren't listened to. I mean, you might have had it sounds like you had a dark moment there, but
Mhm.
you were brought back from the edge as you described it. So,
Yeah. I was brought back and it was through beauty pageants. My aunt was Mrs. Delaware United States in 2000, I'm thinking 2020. Oh my goodness. In 2001
okay.
or 2002. My cousin competed at Miss Delaware from 20 or here I go again. You can tell I'm a
It's
teacher. I sit there and I say
that's fine.
2020 all the time.
No, no, no. I trust me. It's I'm a class of 2000, and it just freaks me out that
It just
freaks me out.
20 years.
This is my 20-year anniversary coming up. Yeah.
Oh gosh. My
So
cousin competed at Miss Delaware. She had all these local titles, all these crowns, starting in 2010. here I go. 2007,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, all the way up. Um, then I told my mom, I said, Mom, I want to do one. She was like, Are you sure? Because you're getting judged by more people. I
Right,
said, But I'm
and
being judged on the great things that I've done and the great things that I want to
right.
do instead of being judged strictly off of because I'm taller than everybody else.
So is that what their biggest gripe was, that you were the tall person in the group and everyone else was super 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 short compared to you?
Everybody was super short compared to me. Everybody had smaller feet. Everybody's pants go all the way down to their ankles. Still to this day, I can't find a pair of jeans that reach my ankles. I either have to wear boots, cuff them, and make it look like I want to do it that way, or just scrunch them and hopefully nothing happens. Um, they used to ask me where the flood was. I actually had a real bad gap in between my teeth, like really bad. They used to ask me how many quarters I could fit in there, call me piggy bank. Um, it was so many different things. Giraffe, piggy bank. Oh
It's
my
crazy
goodness.
that kids see that hindsight is so like having knowledge. That's what see we it's hard to explain this to a kid, but having knowledge is so important. But if they could have realized that all the features that they're picking on are all features that Cindy Crawford has,
Mm-hmm.
Tyra Banks has, and they all grow up to be really, 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 really gorgeous people like yourself, and that's what a really gorgeous person looks like. So you're
Yeah,
making
thank
fun
you so much.
you're making
You're
fun
making fun of
uh,
the good stuff.
you're making fun of what a really gorgeous person is. Like, unfortunately, a gorgeous person doesn't look like the typical person because they're usually super
Mm-mm.
tall. And teeth gaps are only adjustable, are all things that can be adjusted. That's what
Yeah,
braces are for. So that's
definitely.
not a big.
Oh, brace face, don't get me started. I had braces on from age 9. Then they took them off. Then they put them back on when I was 12. Then I had them through middle school. I competed in the Miss Delaware Outstanding Teen pageant in 2011 and 2012 and 2013 actually, I think I did it was 3 times. And I competed with braces on. Um
Why not?
yeah,
There's nothing
there's
wrong.
nothing
There's
wrong with it.
no. I mean, if Invisalign was really a thing at that point, you would have worn Invisalign. You just that
Yeah,
it wasn't.
exactly. It
So
wasn't a thing. It wasn't really big until now.
now,
Um
because of your gap, do you have a permanent retainer that you have to have in your teeth to?
yes. Yep, and I made sure I got mine to be gold because I didn't want to be like everybody else. They
Now,
give them the silver ones, but mine are gold. So I legit have a $10,000 smile.
the I I've heard that they can be painful. Is yours painful first of all? Is it or is just
No.
no?
Oh no, mine are like behind my teeth so that my teeth don't move. Um but I did have to get like tons and I had to get 2 surgeries. Well, obviously I had to get my wisdom teeth out. Um but I had to get there's this little piece of like muscle that's between your lip and your gum. I don't have that because that muscle grew so strong. That's what was creating my gap.
Wow.
So they had to take that out, um, and fix my teeth. I was out of school for like a week and a half. But after I healed, I was able to get my braces, and then my teeth really didn't move. So my parents spent about $50,000 on my teeth, I think.
Oh, so that wasn't part of your prize package.
Mm-mm. We
Oh.
did have, as Miss Delaware, I did have a dentist
Hmm.
that I went to after, but I did all this before I won Miss Delaware Teen.
Well, I'm sure your parents were like, if she knew you were going to win, they would have been like, oh.
I should have waited.
I know. Um,
Yep.
I mean, my close friend, she loves going to the dentist, and she had dentist service complimentary for 3 years. So I know that you guys get
Yeah,
pampered when it comes to your teeth. So
definitely. That's the first thing somebody looks at
yeah,
besides your eyes.
I know. You're bullied in elementary school and
Elementary and middle school.
middle school. You start doing pageants.
Yep.
That first time, do you, that first time on stage, did you feel like a full weight off your chest? Like, was that what made you want to continue to pursue it, or was there some kind of aha moment? Like, what
The
continued to
first
drive?
pageant I did was Miss Teen Wilmington, Cities of America, one of those just little pageants that they
Everyone needs a
send.
trainer pageant, or
Yeah,
it's like
that
when
they
you're,
send home.
yeah.
I won that in 2010.
Oh,
No,
so you
20.
won too.
I won.
Well,
I won my first
congratulations.
one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. You won your first one.
Yeah, I won my first one in like 2010.
So
I'm
you
pretty
are a
sure.
savant. Yeah. So, because I always
Yeah.
joke with my other friend, because like she doesn't have to try. She just wins all the pageants that she enters. And she's like, Paul,
Yeah,
it's not
I won all the state
right.
pageants.
She's like, it's not funny. I'm like, well, you don't lose. So like, she's like, stop. It's not funny. I'm like, I'm making like a true statement. There are
Yeah,
people
my
that
first
are
one,
there are people that are just outstandingly good at one thing.
just one thing.
Right.
Yep.
That's okay, right?
Yeah.
People have
It
got
was fine with me.
people have done more with little. So that's good that you have that one thing that you just excel at.
Yeah, this is my one thing. This and teaching, I think.
Hey,
Um,
we find more things as we get older, but
yeah,
that's one thing that literally no one can
definitely
no one
is.
can mess with you. So
Nobody can take this away from me.
right, exactly.
I So I won my first one back in like 2010. It was one of those pageants that got sent in the mail. I always say I competed in pageants when pageants were cool. Um, because everybody, Delaware had, let's say, 460 people up on that stage, which has not happened. I've never seen it anywhere else since.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I was number 432. Um, and then I told my mom, I said, I want to do another one. So I entered the Miss America Outstanding Teen program. But, I really didn't have a talent. So I just kept losing. And after the third time of losing, I was like, look, this isn't me. Like I need to go do something that I'm good at. And that's where I found, but in between that time, that was when I was going through like my depression, my anxiety. I was getting bullied heavily. Like my ninth grade year was like the turning point for me. It was like a lot of bullying. That was the year that um I couldn't take it anymore. I'd wait for like my parents to leave because they were school teachers too, and I'd hide behind a tree and then go in the house after they left. Um, so I always tell my little brother, he said, I'm like, I know where you're gonna hide. Like we haven't moved houses since, so I know all the good spots. Um, but from there, I entered Miss Delaware Teen USA. I get on the stage, I do my interview, I do everything that I'm good at, and I end up winning. So I always say Miss Delaware Teen USA saved my life, which it did. It stopped. It was a halt of everything. I realized at that very moment when I was being crowned Miss Delaware Teen USA that no one could tell me that I couldn't do anything ever again.
So you truly felt that by being crowned that they weren't going to bully you anymore? I mean, the next day they didn't have the balls to bully you anymore? That crown really.
That next couple weeks, it died down because I won like my junior year. I was a cheerleader, so it was dying down, but
Right.
people would still
Mhm.
be like, "Oh, like your nose is too big.
Yeah,
Your
but
teeth
if
are
you
too
can't
small."
if
Like,
you can't walk home from school, there's an issue. So, yeah.
yeah. So That next day, it was like, "Oh, Miss Delaware Teen USA goes to my school. Miss Delaware Teen USA, Miss Delaware Teen USA. Oh, Mia, 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 Mia." Things changed so much. Everybody knew my name. Not even just my name. They just knew I was Miss Delaware Teen USA.
Well,
It was like, "Oh,
that must have been
great."
a thrill.
Yeah, it was a thrill. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm getting so much attention. I don't know if this is good." You know? Like, is this good attention or bad attention? Like, is this going to change in 3 days? Or is this gonna ride out till I graduate? And it rode out. I left high school feeling better than I did going into it. And then I was still Miss Delaware team when I went into college because it was like my senior year, not my junior. It was my senior year. So I was still Miss Delaware team going into college, and then everybody at school was like, "Oh, that's Miss Delaware team goes here." Yeah, like Miss Delbertine goes here. Mia. Yeah, everybody knows Mia. So it was different, and I took that as in I had to humble myself um because I didn't want to be like everybody else, and I wanted to be like, yeah, like that's me, but I do other stuff. Like I do work with the food bank. I help homeless and need low income families to with everything. I not just during the holidays, all year round, and that was uh my platform as Miss Stella Routine, and that's because my aunt was a foster kid, or not a foster kid. My aunt was a foster mom to 27 children between the ages of just born to 13. So seeing them and then seeing them go back into that lifestyle that they weren't used to was hard. So I always kept in touch and I always made sure they were good and their families were good. So that's what I did as a teenager. I was only 17, 18 years old and I realized that my life was way more important than I thought.
Well, it sounds like those life experiences has made you the person that you are today. So it sounds like without those life experiences, even though they were really traumatizing, it's made you
Yep,
the more sympathetic person that
definitely
that
has.
we need more people like yourself to be. So
Yeah, I sit here today and people are like, "Oh man, I wish I knew this back when I was younger." And I was like, "No, I don't wish I know what I know now. I wish I could have told myself, like my younger self, that I was way more important than what was going on right then and there, but I had to go through it for a reason. And that reason is so I can teach and I can see what's going on in the schools and I know the signs. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I'm there. Like I was there. I was them. So that's why I teach and I think that's the quickest way to get to a child and really gain their trust because they see you more than they see their parents.
I mean, that is the truth. You do see them more than you see their parents, especially if they're
Yeah.
attending school. So you're right. So
I see them from 7. We start school at 7:15. Well, before like morning care,
right.
7:15 to around 5:30, 6 o'clock. And by then, you only got like four more hours at home. Do your homework, take a shower, eat dinner, go to bed, wake up, do it all over again for the next 5 days. So I'm seeing these kids for about almost 10, 11 hours. They feel more comfortable talking to me sometimes than they do their own parents. So that's why I'm like, I have to be that cool, like, I'm listening to you, I'm here for you teacher. I have this one student now and um she's great. She's a great student. But people make fun of her. They call her annoying, stupid, slow, just because she has a disability. And it's not a disability that a physical disability. It's just like she needs help. She needs me to read something more than once so that she can understand it. So I was that kid. I had to wait. Like I was like, no, like I need you to do it. And they were like, oh, she already said it. Like, no, I'm gonna read it 3 times and until she everybody in the class gets it, then we'll move on.
it's that issue that some people have. Like, it's like impatience that, oh, I
Mhm.
you know, I already know it, so everyone else
Yeah,
should. I'm
so
like,
everybody else should know it.
no, like not. And also, the way that we teach our children is not the society in which they go into. So it's also really, we teach them how to be in a society where they would build things on like an assembly line, and the society they're going into
It's
is,
like this is this step, this step, this step,
yeah,
this
and
step.
and that society doesn't exist anymore because we don't even build things in America anymore. The only thing
No,
we
we have a robot.
right. No, like you're absolutely. I mean, so it's, you know the one thing that we definitely need to work on, and it seems like I'm thankful that there's a teacher like you there to help you, is to work on their social skills, because they need to know how to talk in front of a camera. They need to know. They need to be able to voice their opinions. They need to be able to comprehend. Comprehension
Definitely.
is
Comprehension is key.
is like everything, because if you misread something or misunderstand something, you could literally spend $1 million on something, or buy the wrong food, or order something wrong.
Yep.
Um, I have a severe reading and writing disability, and last night was a perfect example. I thought I ordered a egg roll, and I actually ordered an extra thing of rice and shrimp. I thought I was getting shrimp roll.
Shrimp roll.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't. Okay, okay.
It's like, all right, whatever. I'll eat it anyway.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, damn, you know.
Yeah, like I totally like. Yeah, no, I get you. I
And
was
then some
diagnosed
people,
as a kid with ADHD, and I couldn't sit still, and I had I sat there and I couldn't read out loud. I could not pronounce words. I didn't even know like the sounds of different letters, like what happens when there's an I and then there's a consonant in the end, and then
Mhm.
like E at the end. I didn't know. I couldn't comprehend that. So they were like, if she doesn't get it, she's gonna be held back. It's like, no, somebody teach me. You're giving me this sheet of paper without teaching me how to read.
I think
So
that I think
that's where
that
it's
teachers
lacking.
like you, no, I think teachers like you are what's going to save a lot of kids, because a lot of kids, I think, are going to get left behind. So, I can only pray that there's more teachers like
They're
you.
either they're either gonna get left behind, or nowadays there is something in the school system where it's like you can't hold a kid back for some like you can't hold a kid back anymore, or you can't give them a failing grade. It's something like that in one of the schools that I worked at. And I'm like, how? If this person doesn't know how to read, or if, like, I understand I don't want to hold them back, but why won't you just teach them?
Well, isn't that also part of that awful test that they have to take, those 4 tests to graduate? Um,
Yeah.
so if they don't pass those tests, then they don't even let them proceed, right?
Yeah, some people just aren't good test takers. Like me, I can't take a test.
I mean, that
So
would
as
that
a
would really,
teacher,
yeah.
I have to I don't want to teach them to take a test. I'm going to teach them so that they learn something. So I do a lot of projects, a lot of activities that they would like we have in my classroom like a cell phone bucket where you have to when you come in you put all your cell phones in there. As soon as I get back in that classroom, I give the kids their phone back. And they're like, "Why?" I said, "Because we're going to do work from it. I'm not going to like stop them from doing something they're used to all the time." So I tried to get them adapted to what's out there, because I know I had like JA, junior achievement or something. It was something like that. Growing up, where I learned how to write a check, I learned how to balance a checkbook, I learned what a mortgage was, I learned how to budget my money. They don't have that anymore.
I mean,
And I'm like,
I agree
how?
with you. Like, I remember. I mean, I don't know how you don't teach that basic, like just basic, like how to get a job, like that stuff doesn't.
Yeah, a resume. They don't know, even in middle school, because they're going to high school. These kids are going to have to write a resume, write essays to get into college. Yeah, you want to teach them to take a test, and sometimes teachers are teaching them to take a test and learn those answers so that they could get paid more. And for me, that's not my job. If I'm with these kids 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, I'm going to teach them more than just how to answer a multiple choice question or how to answer a writing prompt. It's going to be about things they want to do. I'm giving them a writing prompt tomorrow, um, or a how to lesson. And it's like, write a how to start your own YouTube channel, or a how to create a Minecraft game. Whatever these kids are into, I said, you just give me the how to, and we write down step by step. And from there, boom. They're like, oh, like, does this really work? I don't know. Let's follow each step. So that's what I'm teaching my kids. I'm teaching them stuff that they're into, stuff that's happening in the world now, um, so that they won't be left behind, because I'm not going to teach them just to take a test. I'm going to teach them life.
I mean, I think that you should be commended for trying to teach outside the box like that, because teaching them what they're actually going to encounter in the real world, and then just adapting that to what the test is going to be, because the test is going to be similar. It's just going to be, they're going to put it in more generic terms for their test, but
Yeah.
when they actually do go to make a YouTube channel or apply for a job, they're gonna, honestly, it should kick in. And if it
They're
doesn't,
going to
that's
be
not
like,
really
oh,
on
Miss
you.
Jones taught me this.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know.
It's like, oh, I already know how to do this. Miss Jones taught me this. It's like, yeah, I gave it to you. I gave it to you in the 4th grade. Here you go. Here's a whole binder.
I just wanted to take 1 second from this great interview and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid-Atlantic Video and Photography Productions. No matter if you're planning a wedding, a special event, or you just need an amazing headshot, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443-422-3830. Again, that's 443-422-3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to the show and listen to this great interview. So clearly, adapting your philosophies and really trying to make a difference is what's really driving you, and you're
Mm-hmm.
really in your career as a teacher. Do you see yourself staying as a teacher, or do you want to proceed higher into the education? Do you want to go into being a principal, or I forget what they call the
What, the
board,
superintendent?
superintendent or
Yeah, the
board.
board.
Yeah.
Yep. I see myself doing that, but right now I like where I'm at, because I can see I'm in the field. Like, I see what's going on. I Instead of being a principal and having to run like the whole school, I like being in that one little area where I can communicate with the students all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. My mom was a principal for so long, and my mom was is one of like my inspirations for education. Her and my dad, they're both. My dad is now an assistant principal. My mom's the director of schools in Delaware, and um, my mom always said she loved being in the classroom. She loved it. Um, she was like, because you're there with the kids all the time, and she said, I wait for that 1 second where I can drop everything in my office and just walk around the school and see what the teachers are doing. It's As a principal, you aren't just working with the kids, you're more so the teachers, just making sure the teachers do everything right for the kids. Um, which is great, but I love being a teacher. And when I first got out of college, I didn't think I liked it So I took like a 4-month break, but I love it. And I don't see myself as of right now being anywhere else, but if they need me to be, I would.
Do you think that you want to stay with a public school, or do you think going to a private school would would make a change, would make a bigger change, make
I'm
a
in a
make a
private school
difference?
now.
Oh, you're in private school now.
Yep, and private schools are the best. The class sizes are smaller. You get more one-on-one time with the students. You're with them. You see everything. Um, so being with the private school I'm with now, it's great. It's like a family. My class size is about 15. And then in public school you have to worry about 30. Where in private school they do it based off of how many people could be in the classroom, how much space we have, um, smaller class sizes to give individual attention, which is helping my students because most of them do have IEPs or 504 plans that need to be taken care of. And in a public school, they probably wouldn't get that much attention. They would just, like I said, teach them the tests. Um, so I love being in a private school. If I could open up my own private school, I would.
Well, it sounds like that would probably be a better fulfilling thing to do than to be in the administrative side.
Yeah,
Then you could then, if you wanted to, you could pop in and help a couple teachers occasionally, or you know,
definitely.
and that it sounds like that would be more rewarding for you. But
Definitely.
and this is all. I mean, are you attributing this all to pageantry then?
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for pageantry. Um, I recently just competed at Miss Earth USA, and at first I didn't understand why there were so many categories to the pageant. There's like yes, social media, online interview where you sit down with a couple other contestants and then the host, and they ask the whole group questions on what's important in our society and our environment. How would you stop it? I would never thought I would be able to do that. Um, and if it wasn't for pageants, I wouldn't be able to talk to the kids. I wouldn't be able to communicate with their parents. I wouldn't be able to communicate with my fellow colleagues, my teachers, and also um, just just truly understand what everybody is going through because everybody's going through the same thing. I always think of school and like work like a pageant. Like, no, I'm not competing against you. I'm competing against myself, but I know we're all going through the same thing. So I get it, you know?
No, I agree with you. Um, do you, as a teacher, do you find it to be upsetting that you had to go to a pageant to learn how to public speak? Um, you had to go to a pageant to be more confident. That was stuff that wasn't instilled um at your
It wasn't
school.
instilled at me as a student.
Is that
At
frustrating?
home,
Is that frustrating?
it's frustrating. At home, I had all the confidence. My grandparents would be like, "Oh yeah, that's the dancer." But when I was at school, it's more of I hid who I really was until I won. And the fact that I had to go to a pageant to see it, and I'm telling you, everybody's different. Everybody has a different experience. I always tell somebody, compete in one pageant, just one. It could be Miss Apple Scrapple,
Mm-hmm.
to Miss World, to Miss Universe. Just compete in one. You never know how far you would go. You never know who you're gonna meet, where you're gonna be. Um, because at first, when I was 14, I wanted to be a dentist. Even at 18, I wanted to be a dentist, and I went to school for it. And I sat in my first class, and I was like, "Oh no, I can't do this." I had to rethink my whole life at 18. I was like, I cannot be a dentist. I can't do it. I said, I can't do the same thing every day. And as a teacher, they think you have to be repetitive. No, I can teach them the same thing in a different way every single day. I love going outside. I love bouncing around with that's who I am. I have so much energy that I could only work with elementary schoolers because I have too much energy for the babies and way too much energy at 7 o'clock in the morning for the high schoolers. So there's really there's really no point. I would be called the crazy teacher.
Well, I mean, do you like the idea of just having no repetition then? Is that the kind of lifestyle that's more fulfilling for you? Like space spicing it, doing random things all the time. Is that the key thing that
Yeah, that's me. I plan according to how I feel. So yesterday, um, I was sitting in my bed and I was trying to figure out what we're gonna do for Thursday and Friday. I don't know why we went to school today, but it's okay. We are the only school in session in Florida right now. Well,
well,
in our county.
that's two extra
The
days.
only one.
That's two extra days you'll have going, at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, we do get out 2 days earlier than everybody else. But still,
Shut up, Paul.
I'm like, but still. I'm sitting here like, no, why am I going back to school? So I knew the kids didn't want to be there. It's like this makes no sense to why we're going back here today. But I was like, you know what? I gotta make it fun. I gotta teach them something. They have to leave out of here knowing something. Because the teacher that they had before me, because like I said, I wasn't in teaching for 4 months. I was sitting behind a desk answering the phone and I hated it. It was the worst idea I ever had in my entire life. I hated it. Um, So I was like, I have to teach them something. Something has to be fun. So we watched like a lot of videos. I asked them about like how their Christmas was, New Year's. And then I was like, write a letter thanking whoever, because some people might not believe in who. Um, especially at that age. It's
Hmm.
just everybody keep your mouth shut.
Right.
It's like everybody be quiet. Don't say a word.
And
Because
depending on and
I
depending on
think my little brother
depending on how
found
they
out at
think
like
to
10.
no, no, and like depending on it, it, it could be a couple people too, like depending on the way the family.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're just depending on life, who they are.
mhm.
Um, so we just did a lot of fun stuff today. We played multiplication card games where every table you're gonna play match. You have to multiply each match you get, you know. Um, if you're like we played card games, we did a fake video like podcast thing where they are learning about the southeast region of the United States. So each table picked a state. They told me the state bird, the capital, where it's from. And then they had to create a character in that podcast where one of the students lived in that state. And it's so funny to hear like all how they think everybody talks in Georgia or like Tennessee. It was like, hey everybody, I'm from Tennessee. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a bad idea.
Was it instructed to try to talk in their native speak or
it was it was
their
just
dialect?
tell me, how would a person from Tennessee act? So they read about
Oh.
Tennessee first, and then they're like, oh, this is where like country music's from. So they would talk like this. I was like, oh my goodness, this was such a bad idea.
Oh.
But it was funny.
But
It
that
was great.
it
And they
just
understood and they took notes, and now they know all their states in the Southeast region.
exactly. Well, it sounds like also that being a child, they just take it if you say yes, yes is yes. Like there's no yes is
Yeah.
gray. Like so they
Mm-mm.
they they took it that you wanted them to actually inhabit that person's language.
Yep.
So
It was great. It was great.
that's interesting.
Yep. It
So
was really interesting.
so you mentioned that you've done this Earth pageant, but
Yep.
before you even did that, you did one thing. You've done something that put you in a record book with a very elite group. You won both your teen and Ms. title in Delaware,
Yep.
which is something you
Yes, I did.
definitely should be commended for.
Thank
So,
you.
what the teen title, in your opinion, from what you stated, really
Mhm.
helped to motivate you and eliminate the bullying. When you won that Ms. title, did you feel elevated at that point, that you felt really important at that point, or did that title did not like did that did that title make you feel like so much importance, or it wasn't
Mhm.
like or did it go your head, or like, or how, because the one
Um,
title basically you felt like it cleaned up all of the bullies, the other,
it
and then
clean yeah. So, Miss Delaware Teen USA really shaped me. Like made me realize who I wanted to be and who I really am. Um, so that I always say my Miss Delaware Teen crown was for me. It was for me to realize that I'm something special. But when I won Miss Delaware, I'm telling you, I did not think I was going to win. I felt like I butchered my interview. I felt like I butchered my on-stage question. Um, but everything happens for a reason. I was standing up there with my first runner-up, um, and she was so sweet. But this was like her eighth time competing. So I really thought I was like, all right, it's not my time. It's okay. I'm young. I could do this again. Like I have time. And they called my name and I was like, "Oh my goodness, they really did it to me again." I said, "I can't believe this." I really couldn't. And it didn't go to my head. It really truly humbled me because all the women that I competed with at Miss Delaware USA, I've known them for years. It's not just, "Oh, yeah, I'm just competing to have both." No, I competed because my Miss Delaware USA crown was for everybody else. It was for me to tell my story so that I could help somebody else. It wasn't because as a teen, I didn't say anything. I was too scared to. I did work with the food banks, work with the foster care system. I didn't do anything with anxiety, depression, and suicidal teenagers. I didn't. I put everything on halt. None of that stuff ever happened. And I sat in my dorm room before I competed and I said I have to compete again because I'm sitting here and I feel like my something's not done. Like my life feels a little incomplete, which it still does because I feel like I could do so much more and there's a bigger title out there that I could have. I could say more. And I could use it for more, which is great because there's so many different patent systems out there that I would compete in. But
is that a
it
drive that
humbled me.
you think that can ever be fulfilled, or is that something that, like, any great athlete has that drive? It's what makes them um, be the best you are. I think that's what drives you to be the best teacher you are.
Mhm.
Do you think that's even possible to actually fulfill that and make and fill it?
No.
Okay, okay,
Nope. I don't think my work is ever going to be done
okay.
because yes, touching one life is rewarding, but if I can touch millions, that's even better.
And I
That's way better.
and see, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, people are like, "Are you ever going to stop this pageant thing?" I'm like, "Stop? Why? I'm 23." Yeah,
And you're super successful, and you're super successful at,
I'm
like we were joking about. You're
yeah,
like every
I'm
pageant
good
you,
at it.
yeah, yeah. It's like, if I'm trying to think of some, like, I'm a big baseball fan, but you might not know if you were Jackie Robinson and you were
Uh-huh.
stealing bases all the time, and stealing home. They wouldn't. They wouldn't tell you no. They would continue.
No.
They would tell you to
They
go
go,
for
"Yeah,
it.
go.
Just
Keep
continue to go.
going."
Keep on going. So
Yeah, just keep on going. And I feel like I haven't obtained a title. that I really nope. I think internationally is where I want to compete for real because that I can touch so many more lives than anybody else's, you know?
Well, have you thought about um, trying for one of these newer titles that are more that they start? You actually have to compete in a world setting first, and then there's like they have like a galaxy kind of like. Have you considered doing something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I've considered multiple patent systems. There's a lot out there.
I know, and they
But
keep
as
on
a,
popping up too.
and they
So
keep popping up, and I'm like, okay, like the more the better.
I
If
mean,
I
just
would
this
like to
year.
do Earth again,
Hmm.
because at Miss Earth you're allowed to, especially if you have the elemental title, um, you're allowed to compete again, and that's another great thing about that system and just pageants in general. The only competition that doesn't give their first, second, third, and fourth runner up a title is Universe, where I competed, which was great. Loved it. I loved all my sisters. Like we're trying to start a reunion coming up. I love every last one of them. But when I competed at Miss Earth USA, it was it was a completely different feeling because we all kind of stalked each other on Instagram. It wasn't super duper like, oh, if I don't win, I'm going to cry. It was more of a, all I want to do is make it to top 5. And that's what I wanted to do because nationally I never got that far. So this even kicked my drive way more because I got second runner up. I was that close to being Miss Earth USA. And Emani Davis, she was Miss Georgia USA 2016. She was second runner up at Miss USA, and she was third runner up at Miss World America, I believe in like 2017 or 2018. And then she came and she finally um, obtained a national title. But now it's Libby Hill, and she was Miss Earth Air. So basically, at Miss Earth, you get the title of Miss Earth USA, Miss Earth Air, Miss Earth Water, Miss Earth Fire, and Miss Earth Eco. And you guys are all important because you're all national title holders, but they give you the opportunity to come back.
I mean, that is crucial. They're giving an opportunity to compete. So
Yeah, but you sit there and you're like, do I want to go back?
true.
Like, is it like, is this okay? Like, are people going to feel some type of way because I was already a national title holder? Like, what if I win? Is this bad? Is this a bad idea? What if I lose even worse? You know,
Well,
and
do you want do you want me to give you my 2 cents, or am I supposed to just like?
yeah, go ahead.
Well, you do understand that people look different upon it unless it is America or USA. So when it
Oh,
comes to
definitely.
Earth, I think that competing multiple times is more than normal. Um,
Yep.
I would I would assume that the person that you allow him to marry you, that you're he's going to you're going to require that he let you do pageants. So
Oh, yeah. I'm not getting married till 29.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Because
But you didn't hear the one thing I said. You allow him to marry you.
yeah,
So
I'm gonna allow him to marry me.
exactly. So um, I can only assume that you do understand when it comes to the married pageants. Most women do the married pageants like 20 times. I work a lot with the girls on the married side, and some of the girls
Mhm.
literally stay in one system for their entire life. So
Yeah.
I don't think that, unless it's USA or America, I don't think that's
I don't think
out
it's a big
crazy at
deal
all.
either.
No. So you shouldn't feel like shameful or like that you didn't win it once go. Girl,
Yeah.
if you think that you are just that short and you just need to work on some things and you'll have your national title that you've
Yep.
always wanted, then why don't you just go get it?
And
I mean,
Earth is a great The Miss Earth USA is a great pageant system. I felt like that at Miss USA, and I felt like that with them. They really take care of you, and people don't realize that, but everything that we do, they've planned like with everything. They plan like months in advance. I got a Christmas gift. I got a little ornament with like the Miss Earth USA um emblem on it. And in America it's not big, but it's one of the big four pageants out there. It's like one of the top four. And I'm like, oh man, like I did that. One of the top four. I got a national title. Might not have been Miss Earth USA where I went to the Philippines, but I have people in the Philippines calling and messaging me on Instagram trying to get an interview with me because I'm a national title holder, basically just like their first, second, and third runner up at Miss Earth. So I'm technically really important to them, which feels great. Instead of just being a first runner up, like I got nothing.
And from the get go, from the start of our conversation, going from a
Yeah.
place where you were mistreated so much when you were younger to now having people actually reach out to you, I'm sure that's flattering. That it makes you feel so much more
It makes me
rewarding.
feel like my story's getting out there and that people are realizing, you know, there are different ways to cope with anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, whether if you go the nature route, whether if you go the art therapy route, or if you just want to stop it in its tracks like I do. So I love it. I don't know. I can't get married till I'm like 29 when I age out of all the Miss pageants because I'm gonna feel like I want to do another one and another one and another one and another one.
I just wanted to take one extra second and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid Atlantic Video and Photography Production. No matter if you're planning a wedding and you need a wedding videographer, you're doing a music video, or doing a commercial, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443 422 3830. Again, that's 443 422 3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to this great interview. So to follow up on that comment, I agree with you. You know, I hope you don't, whoever the lucky guy is, it's totally cool if you wait till you're 29 to get married, but I hope you don't
Yeah,
wait till you're 29 to meet him.
to find somebody.
Yeah, yeah, please, be happy as long as possible. I encourage you. Like I mentioned earlier, also I wanted to say is I also let you guys take over the show. So
Yeah.
we just came out of our second break. So is there anything important coming up, or is there anything you want to highlight that we didn't highlight before we say goodbye to our audience that you want the world to know about?
Let's see. There's a lot.
Well, just give us like
My
just give us two or
I'll
two or
just give
three.
you.
You don't have to break any stories today. So
Yeah. So basically, parents, if you have a young child, if you see something's changing in them, bug them. Don't stop bugging them, because that's going to change their life. Get them help. Put them in an activity outside of school because suicide and depression is it's a real thing and it's one of the top three leading causes of death in teenagers and young children. I've had whew, three people that I've known real close to me in high school die from suicide. And every day I'm so thankful that I wasn't one of them, because I can tell their stories and I can let them know that they're still important to me. You're still one of my greatest and loving friends. I just need people to realize it's not a weakness. It's really really happening. You never really know what's going on, and it's just hard. Like just understand, they're moody. They really are. All teenagers are moody, but still talk to them. All they want is your attention and all their and your love, and you never know what that could do to somebody
Guys,
at all.
look at
Yeah,
the example that Mia has put forth here. If that teacher didn't help her, she wouldn't be here because she fully admitted that she was in a dark place. So that means she wouldn't have won teen, which
I wouldn't have
completely
won this.
in 1-on-1
I
miss.
would.
She wouldn't be Miss Earth Water. So if there are
It's
people that are struggling, take a little bit of time to help them because you don't know what that will help that person in the future. What you do
yeah,
now
definitely.
could have 10 times fold in the future for someone. So please do not do not diminish the time that you can help someone. So
Yeah, don't. Um, just seeing it is key. If you see something change, ask about it.
I mean, am I
Um,
wrong? Because like
you're not wrong. You are not wrong. It's 110% preventable. You never really know, but it's preventable. If you just say, "Hey, how are you doing?" You never know if that will change somebody's life. But besides that, it's like, man, if I could go back to like my 13, 14-year-old self, I'd be like, "Oh, wait until you see what you're about to turn into.
mhm.
It's about to be a mess." Like, you're about to go through it, but you're about to love every minute of it afterwards. I wouldn't have the friend group that I have. Um I wouldn't be a Giovanni It Girl ambassador. I I love Giovanni. I love them. They're one of that family. Abraham and Slavi, Katie, Felicia. Katie is actually now Miss Delaware USA, so it's great having a friend that has a title after me as well. You know, um, and I can't wait to watch her compete at Miss USA. All my friends are actually going to Miss USA this year, which is awesome. We just have one more. We have to wait until New York and see if she wins. Um, Andrea Jabal, she was Miss Teen United States back in I think 2013 or 14. Um, and she's become one of my closest friends. Um, I love talking to her. I can't wait for that. Everybody, do one pageant in your life. You don't even have to win, but go in like you want to win because that's the best way to look at things. Look at things. I look at the glass. They say look at the glass half empty or full. I always look at the glass like it can be refilled. If you
Oh,
fall over,
I've never heard that comment.
you've
So
never heard that?
I've never heard the comment of the glass being refilled. Okay. So
Yes.
so in which way can the glass be refilled? So if the glass is half empty, how can you
You can
refill the
still fill it up,
Okay. Is
right?
that
You
metaphorically
refill
or
it with you refill it with things that you truly do love. Art, finding self-love, finding something that you're passionate about, doing something out of the ordinary. For kids it's called like bucket fillers. You give people compliments like your cup can always be refilled.
Okay.
And there's not a problem with your cup being filled and overflowing. Because when you overflow, let's say the bathtub overflows, the water gets on the floor, you step in it, somebody else steps in it, somebody else steps in it. It touches so many different people that it really doesn't matter.
You
It's like,
know,
yeah,
that's
it's
I
it's a
honestly
deep thing.
that was great, yeah. See, that's sometimes the insight talking to people of like minds and talking and continue having great conversations, you get these great insights. So
Yep.
that's awesome. So I honestly have never heard of refilling because people always say, how do you feel, but I've never heard of anyone describing having filling refilling your cup. Okay.
Yeah. I've had somebody ask me that in a pageant interview, and I sat there for like 10 seconds. And they asked me, they said, "So do you look at the glass half full or half empty?" I said, "Why does it have to be either?" And they looked at me like, "What?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You can always pour water into a cup. You can always refill your cup if it falls. I said, and if you overflow it, that's just more juice for you. So,
I mean,
is it
to be
really a
honest,
bad
if I
thing?
was a judge and you said that to me, I would. I was that one of the years that you won one of your titles because
Yeah.
that's an awesome. Yeah. So
I was like, is it a bad thing? I said, yeah, I do a pageant. Yeah, I lose, but what did I gain from it? Yeah, I went skateboarding. I fell down, but I've learned that I cannot skateboard. Like, you always have to look at the opposite side of things.
no,
Yeah, I'm a really bad skateboarder, but I learned that. I learned that the hard way.
I mean,
I
those are
thought it
so
was
many.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, those are so many good. Yeah, I mean, that's why you've won so many titles because you take that, you take a little bit of that wisdom and you turn it into
And I turned it into
the
something
gold,
else.
right?
Yeah. I've had a colleague tell me I was trying to help them for their national pageant, and they told me, "Why am I listening to you if if you didn't make top 15 nationally?" And I think that's what sparked my drive a little bit to compete in Miss Earth USA, because I knew I could get the top 15. I didn't know what it was that wasn't clicking. But for me, I think I was a miss, and I was so used to being top. I was top 15 at Teen USA,
Hmm.
but I was a miss, and I was comparing myself to older women that were more successful instead of looking at myself and looking at what I've done at such a young age. Um,
Well,
so
the other thing is, you know, I try not to use the four-letter words, but f that person because they clearly don't understand. You know,
yeah,
to win any championship takes a lot of achievement.
hmm
Are you gonna criticize a team that plays in the minor league system that wins a championship? They played against the people of the
same caliber.
same level of talent, okay, and
Yep,
they won. So for you to say that just because at the next level you didn't do well, so I don't respect your opinion is Bush is just being very Bush League because your
yep,
opinion is very valid because you competed against your own group of girls that are in the same talent and you won. You were better than them.
yeah.
So
And
your voicing
I
opinion
always
means so
told
much.
I had to sit there and I really had to swallow a huge pill. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "It's not that I didn't make top 15 at Miss USA. It's not that at all. It's the fact that I know what they're looking for and I know how to get you to that point because I was there." And I was like, "Oh no." After that I was just like, "It's okay. I understand, I get it." But the people that do listen to me, they usually place top 15, top 5 and they win. So, it's kind of crazy. I'm like
I do
it's kind of crazy.
no, I do understand about the pill thing. The older I get, the more I have to not um intentionally get in an argument with
Yeah.
someone that is just not going to listen to reason that like they they arbitrarily believe that they are right and there's nothing
Yeah.
that I can say or do
Say that's going to change that.
change that and I have to and as an adult I think we get used to we understand that but as a child or a
Mhm.
young adult it's hard so we want to continue like to argue the fact but like there are people
Yep.
that just don't
They just don't get it.
well they don't want to accept they don't want to accept a fact or
Mm-mm.
the truth they want to
Or the
believe
truth that I'm giving them. Yep.
right
Yeah, I
so
just sat there and I was just like, "Oh, you poor girl." I said, "Well, it won't happen for you either."
I mean I didn't want to say anything but you made the comment that you were competing with a colleague that had competed 8 times well
Mhm.
there's a reason why she competed 8 times and she never
And I
won,
competed once.
and you competed once. It is
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with you. She must have never adapted her style to what she had to do
What
to
they were
win.
looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
that's
a
the thing
tap.
with pageants. Like,
Right.
they change. They change so quickly. Look at Miss America. Now, do I like the way they
Oh,
did the
darling, don't even
telecast?
hide this stuff because you
Uh,
literally went on Instagram and
I
publicly,
legit
like,
hate no, I hated the way they did that podcast. I felt like I was really watching America's Got Talent. Like, for me, okay, getting rid of the swimsuit, that's great. That was perfectly fine.
the evening gown
Adding a
thing threw
social
the evening gown
the
really threw me.
yeah, the evening, so you want me to introduce myself in an evening gown for 15 seconds. So I'm going to spend $3,000 on an evening gown to be on stage for 5 seconds. Then they called the top 15. They didn't say a word, asked them a question. They waved, they go backstage, they change out of that
But you
$3,000
didn't even
evening gown.
mention the best part. You missed that they did they did that intro with them laying down in $3,000,
Oh,
$5,000.
oh
That
my gosh.
that's the
I
worst
was
part. Like
so
I'm sorry, but I know I'm a guy.
horrified.
I know I'm a guy, and I have no idea what it is to be a woman, especially in a $4,000, $5,000 dress. But I am a photographer, and I know how much you guys get pissed off and frantic if something goes wrong.
If something goes wrong with the dress,
I just don't know how they thought it was like cool to have a girl in a $5,000 dress laying
laying
sideways
on
on
the
a pillow
floor.
on a pillow
Yeah, no.
with
Mm-mm. Nope.
and having to talk. So they're basically laying on they're laying on that muscle, and now I can't think of it, that allows you to talk properly. Um,
Yeah. And now
and
you have to yell because that's the only way you're gonna get air.
I, I I don't understand it. I don't. Um, and
I
then
didn't
to
get it.
the top things off. How do you not give Nia a
A
send off,
final walk.
a sign off? That I just was that was really
They
insult.
said, they said,
That was
all right, let's give Nia a clap of appreciation for a wonderful year. Claps.
I
Claps.
mean if I have a daughter, I don't recommend her. I don't want to give my money to that organization. Like it's not.
Mm-mm.
Um,
I ripped them to shreds. And it's not I ripped them to shreds based off the girls because the girls were so wonderful, so talented, so well spoken. It was the fact that I sat in my bed and for an hour, did they just not have enough money for airtime? An hour, they cut 51 down to
seven.
7.
No, it was the. Well, you
They
did make a.
let that 7
No, no,
talk.
no. Oh no. First of all, I did want to address it because you brought it up. So the reason why they cut it to 15 was that there was a scholarship given at 15 that wasn't addressed, but it was publicly commented on. I believe it was on Facebook, and there was a scholarship given at 15. That's why they cut it at 15. And then
Oh my goodness.
I
I
don't
understand
understand
you
why
cut
you
it to
did.
15, but that's so
They should have allowed the
hard.
girls to. They should have allowed them to compete to 7, but that's just ridiculous. To cut them twice without competing, that's not really fair.
That's sad. They did nothing
Like
from
there's no
that
sense
from that
there's no sense
51 to 15.
there's no sense in giving out that scholarship at 15. I mean, they should have just they should have they should have given out a scholarship at 20 and then cut it down to 10 because at least there would have been a little bit more. But
Not even that. So there's okay,
I
so
mean, I'm
normally
giving you
pageant
3
goes
more
to like
people.
20.
You
Yeah,
said 7. I mean, I was saying give 3 more people, but you don't even think that's fair.
definitely. I because how you always see Miss America is from when I would watch it as a little girl. They'd come out, they introduce themselves in their cocktail, they cut it down to 20. Um, and then from that 20, they'd compete in swimsuit. Top
Right.
10 go and they change for talent, or all 20 go and they change for talent. Then from that 20, they cut it down to 10. those top 10 were the top 10 in swimsuits, so then they compete. Then from there, they compete in evening gown. That's how I know Miss America.
Hmm.
That's what I grew up on. And it's okay, you get rid of swimsuit. All right, okay. Now you took out the guys. So I don't know who's going to watch the pageant now besides all of us women. Some people still watch it, but I know my dad stopped watching it. He was just like, whatever. Like, no, there's that's the fun.
Well,
That's like the
statistically,
best part.
I have the statistics here because we just did a recap show. 2 years ago, the statistics were bad. They were 0.7. So
Uh-huh.
so Monday Night Raw, the wrestling show, gets a 2.3 for a
Yeah.
3 hour show. They only got a 0.7 in 2008
Sheesh.
in 2018. Okay, that wasn't this year. That was last year, and they
That
had
was the year where there's no swimsuit.
yes, right. That was
Uh-huh.
okay, and they also got dropped from NBC.
Yeah.
Okay, ABC. They got dropped from ABC.
ABC.
Okay, and they had a total viewership, meaning that someone watched in that course of the 2 hours. They had a total viewership of 4,000.3 million.
Sheesh.
Now, in 19, it dropped another point. So it went to 0.6. Allegedly, and I say allegedly because nothing can be confirmed, but they allegedly told, and I heard this on two podcasts that are pageant, and one of the one that I heard it was had three former Miss America, so I have to believe that it's true.
Yeah.
They told the contestants to tell the parents to turn on every television they have to NBC to drive up the ratings because every television that is turned on can attribute to the ratings.
Can yeah.
And
No.
and
I'm
now,
I'm
but
not
here's
doing
the
that.
but we didn't even do total viewership. You want to guess what the total viewership? The last 18 was 4.3 million. You want to guess again
Huh?
what the viewership is for
No.
19? It went to 3.6. They almost lost a million total viewers
Ugh.
just in 1 year. In my opinion,
Because if I
the
wanted to watch
2020 pageant,
America's Got Talent, I would have waited till 9 o'clock.
I know. But here's the most important thing. They can't go any further lower, okay? There wouldn't be
Or
a
they're
net.
not gonna be on TV.
Well, there isn't anything lower. Lower is zero. Lower is no TV, no ad revenue, okay?
Oh
And
my
I didn't
gosh.
even tell you the best part. This isn't the biggest skew of adults. It's from 18 to 49. That's a wide margin. This isn't 18 to 35 or 36
Yeah.
to 49. This is 18 to 49. And they only had 3.6 million people
Oh
out of
my
a
gosh.
out of a country that has almost um uh, 400,000, like that's
Yeah,
what?
that's ridiculous. My thing is
I don't
they
see how that
commented
pageant. Yeah, it's
they commented on the girls after they did things like I could go back and retry. Like I could do it again. Like if I just switched this, then like that's hard. You tried your whole however many years or 1 year or a couple months that you spent prepping for that pageant to have a judge tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry. I liked you this far, but you're boring." Or that talent wasn't that good. Or if you would have been a little bit more like it's not on national television, like I can't go back and retry it again. So you have to live with that video for the rest of your life.
there was just a
Do
lot
they
of
not
just
understand that?
but there was just a lot of things that I thought that I mean perhaps we should make this into a totally different show, but like
I
they
know.
they they didn't highlight the girl doing the baton. She was literally I don't
No,
know.
you knew who they wanted to win. You knew the scientist was going to win. As soon as I found out Virginia, it was either
I
Miss
mean,
America was going to ride the black girl magic wave, or they were going to pick the scientists. Georgia to me was always going to be first runner up.
I mean,
She was
I had,
always going to be
but
first runner up.
but if you were paying attention to America this year, you knew that Virginia was going to be extremely hard to beat. I mean, she was already on Ellen, or no, she wasn't on Ellen. She was on the other singer from the
Oh, she
she
was
was on
already
Kelly
on
Clarkson.
Access.
She was on
Yeah, she's been on all these
so
shows.
and she did her performance already. So they already groomed her to be. So I
They
mean,
are they knew as soon as she won, they were like, "All right, here you go, because this is the direction Miss America is going. Because you are a scientist and because you don't do a regular talent, that means because you're smart and you're a woman, you're gonna win." So to me, they were either going to go with the wave of
yeah, but
everybody.
if we're gonna go down this route, okay, then I'm gonna totally not pull any punches, and we're gonna start this argument when it comes to what USA did for several years,
Yep,
where they decided to go, oh, she's an army brat, and we're gonna
yep,
support
and
black women and
that's
army, and then the nuclear scientist kind of thing,
and that was my year. And I
even
love
though she really
Tyra to
wasn't
death.
she's not a nuclear,
There's
she's not, she works in that building, but she's not a nuclear scientist. Like they really misled the public on that. Like, so they're,
Yeah, to me, I knew. I was standing on stage at Miss USA in 2017, and they were like, "We even have a nuclear scientist." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I see what they're trying to push here." Like, I get it. I said, "I am a 23-year-old college student, and in the year of Trump, when he was running the Miss Universe organization, I would have made it."
well, I
You know
agree.
what I
I
mean?
agree with
I
that.
would have made top 15. I would have been up there. I would have probably even made it almost all the way to top 5. I would have been in top 10. Because as a teen, I made top 15 underneath Trump. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm not going to win. I'm not that experienced. And I sat there and I said, maybe I should have waited a couple of years. And I was like, no, what I did was right. I made the right decision. I'm glad I'm here now because it's only going to get worse from here. And like I
Well,
said earlier, I competed when pageants were cool.
no,
So,
I wanted to say, I wanted to, before we ended the day, I wanted to say, you had the opportunity to actually be in the organization when it was, maybe the girls weren't treated right at the national level, but you guys
mhm,
got a lot of perks as a, being a USA girl, and you were
yeah.
treated the right way. Um, do you notice it? Like was your experience the teen 10 times more amazing than your experience as a Ms.?
Oh,
Um,
yes. And that's the truth. As a teen, I went to the Bahamas for my national pageant. That's when they were still having it at the Atlantis. Best time of my life, my brother's life, my mom and dad, they had so much fun. It was like a mini vacation. We did so many activities, photo shoots. We practiced, like there was videos. Still to this day I can look back and said I had fun at Miss Teen USA. Like that was great. And then when I competed at Miss USA, I was like, "Oh, this is different." And I was like, this is really different. Like they're picking people who they want to do social media and stuff. Like I was all over the Miss Teen USA website. Everybody was all over the Miss Teen USA website in 2014. You didn't know who was going to win. You knew some people shouldn't have been there or shouldn't have or could have or whatever could have been there. But I always thought to myself, like, I really competed at a time where they really stuck to the pageant values of where we first all started. Like it was a beauty pageant. It wasn't just, oh, based off of what you're doing in life.
well, I
Like,
also think that they were trying to play politics too, especially your year. I mean, that's the same year that
oh,
Adriana competed, and I think there was
yeah.
too much politics played. But I mean, there's nothing we can do at this point. But I
It's
mean,
nothing we can do. It's over. But all I'm telling you is I have cousins competing in the USA system now, and they know what's going on and they know how to win. So it's like, all right, great. Like I understand what I have to do.
I
You
mean, I
know?
do appreciate that they are really giving people of culture more of opportunity.
Mhm.
But it also seems like they're also trying to make you guys play a game too and jump through hoops. So it also, um, like
Yeah, it's like
you
I'm
have
not a
to,
lawyer.
yeah, I know. Well, not just that. Like, it's not good enough that you're the smartest person in the room and you can talk. Then you also have to already have the best job in the world. Like, you
You
would,
have to
I
have the
guess,
credentials
yeah,
as
like
well.
I guess at this point you would probably be better chance of winning now because you're a teacher. Like
Yep.
why do you have to be the teacher? Why can't you be the one pursuing being a teacher? Why is that not good enough?
Yeah, why can't you help me get my
I mean,
teaching, you know, my
isn't
teaching
that the
career
point of the
started or something?
pageant? That's the one thing
It
I
is
do.
the point.
I mean, I that was the one thing I do appreciate about America is that they want to help you get there.
Yep.
They don't want to assume that you're already there. But then their pageant, the reason why we got on this tangent, the reason why we got on this tangent was that they are picking people that are already successful in their field, which is defeating the purpose of what a pageant is. The person
Mhm.
who wins, they're trying to help the person. So
Having a pageant title is supposed to uplift you and supposed to push you to go even further. Because when Olivia Copo won, she was just this girl from Rhode Island. She wasn't anything special. She was just this girl that won. But look at her now. It's pushed her modeling career. It's pushed her into being an entertainer. It's pushed her into being a host. Um, and then I sit back and I look at the Miss USA's and Miss Universes after, let's say, 2013 or 2014, my year. These women just sometimes go back to their regular job, you know?
Mhm.
Like they're either
but that's because they're already
still
established. There's
exactly,
nowhere
there's
higher to
nowhere
go.
else for you to go.
Exactly.
So why not pick the college student or the girl looking for
I
some
know.
clarity in something
That's why
to
to
give
me,
her that scholarship because her school's going to be paid off,
no, I
you know?
and this is just conjecture, and I want people to understand. Listen, this is just conjecture, but to me, and I think me and I are both on the same page on this. Is that definitely in the last 10 years there has been a course correction to pick people that already there. And that's sad because that was not the concept of the pageant. The pageant was designed to help women to get to where they want to be.
Mhm.
If you're already where you want to be, then there's no point to
Then what's the
go
point?
further. So,
Further. How
yeah.
much further could you
I
go?
mean, and we don't and to me as a guy, I don't necessarily mean further as meaning getting married. That's a personal choice. I mean like in life and like pursuing your education, pursuing your interest.
Yep.
So, but all I can do is pray, and all
I hope everything changes back to where it was and what it was doing.
or I just help I that my show puts a little bit of insight, and that the new crop of people that pop up, um because even though guys don't compete, I hope that you guys will listen to our insight a little bit, because um what Universe did this year, which I thought was really insulting. How can you pick Mixed Universe in a panel of 7 girls, and not have one guy judge when half of the
Yeah.
population is men? So
Yep.
I just hope that will be some course correction. You
I
know,
hope there's some course correction, especially just
there's
with
a
pageant systems in general.
no, I know, and there's already this overall feeling, especially on my feeling, that pageant girls can be stuffy, and they cling to only women. They don't, because you're a guy. And that's not the stereotype we want to promote. We want to promote that if you're a pageant girl, that you're actually really super intelligent and that
Yep.
you're capable of communicating to both men and women, and that a pageant contestant could be um, president or any position of power, and to
Yep.
do that, you need to be able to communicate to both men and women. So, um,
Definitely.
I mean, that's what I think, that if you can win a pageant, I think you could be a president. So, I mean, because those skills
Yeah.
are all
It's all the
comprehensive.
same. You got to
Yeah,
get people to like you.
exactly.
You have, but less. You have to get 5 to 7 judges to like you in 3 minutes.
Yeah, so it's actually harder.
This is harder.
Exactly.
They have a whole year for this. I have 3 minutes.
Or like Trump, he started 4 years.
Exactly. Like he still has some time to go. But if he wants to come back and own Miss Universe again, I'm for it.
Or just a rich guy that's going to actually, or a rich woman that's actually going to put.
Yeah.
I, I, I don't have any ill will towards IMDG, but they clearly don't have the funds to run it the right way.
No.
Um, the
I'll do it if I get money, everybody. I will own Miss Universe and I will put on the pageant. I understand it's hard work. I wouldn't fire anybody. I just need to be that top person on the tippy top where everything goes to first and then trickles down from there. I don't want to do all the work.
I mean, the biggest thing I think that would really help is um, really about recruiting. And it would be really
Yep.
awesome if USA would start doing local pageants like America,
Again, yeah.
and making people feel like they're a part of the system, and then making them feel glamorous,
Mhm.
you know, and not doing the pageants, in a small college town. Like 2 years ago, how do you do the Miss USA pageant in a hockey arena? Like, it's just like it's not
It's
what
not
you.
cool.
Yeah, no, it needs to be somewhere like Vegas. It needs to be somewhere
Yeah.
like New
Somewhere
York,
big.
LA.
California, even
It's Miss
Orlando,
USA.
Miami.
Yeah, it's Miss USA.
Yeah.
It.
Just like Connecticut.
I know it just needs to be somewhere that's prestigious.
Yep.
And I don't know what it is. There's no disrespect to any of the
To any of them.
small cities in the world, but there's a reason why you are a small city, okay? And there's a reason why that New York is a big city,
Yep.
okay? So it has more to do with the prestige of the name. If one day that your city gets to a point to be a prestigious city, then having it in your town would be absolutely worth it. But at the current climate, New York is New York, LA, Las Vegas, San Francisco, Detroit, are way bigger names than some of these smaller college towns. So,
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like you said, Miami. I think Orlando is not a great place just for Ms. Because it's more kiddie friendly. It would be great for teen, but
Yeah, just like the Bahamas was great for the team pageant. Like
yeah, it is. It's safe.
it's safe. It's safe. It was so much fun. Like we did everything from water bouncy houses to photo shoots in the pool to rock climbing um, to breakfast, going to swim with the dolphins. Like we did all that. And they are not experiencing it. And I'm like, I am so sorry.
Well, the nice thing is that you actually did get to experience it, and I really do appreciate you telling your story about this, because some people, they never do get to even hear what it was like, and hopefully one day you will be able. I mean, if you keep on winning titles, they'll have no choice but to ask you to be a judge, and then hopefully you'll have some influence, um, and maybe you'll be on the board one day. So I can only pray that you get some power that way. So I
Yeah.
commend you continue working hard there. So,
Thank you.
and I really appreciate your time, and I hope everyone appreciate a little extra time on the show, and I appreciate you taking a couple of extra minutes to. And
No problem.
I hope no one listening felt offended for us to just give our extra 2 cents.
Our
But
opinions,
yeah,
yeah.
but in no
There
way,
are opinions, guys. You make up your own mind. You decide what pageant system is right for you.
yeah.
I just know
I think we
what's right
both
for me and what's not.
I think we both just have really strong hearts when it comes to not wanting to see things dismantled, and
I
we
don't want to see pageants disappear. And at
yeah.
the rate that they're going to be gone and there's going to be no point of having my title.
Well, it's not even that. It's also like they'll exist, but they'll be a totally different thing.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm trying to think of something like when I was a kid, the mall was such a huge thing, and now the mall is not even
No, it's
it's
not
not
even
even a
big.
thing. It's not even a thing. So that's exactly a great equation to the thing. So, um, please don't take it offense to
Yeah.
anyone. So again, my I love to have. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate so much for you being on the show, and
No
you have to
problem.
come back after
I
you,
know I will.
and talk about your new success when you do compete. And we all wish you only the best. Okay,
Alrighty, thank you guys. Thank you for listening.
Mia, thank you so much for coming on the show. We 100% appreciate your time and are so thankful for your friendship and telling your story. I know it takes a lot to have someone come on and talk about going through someone picking on you. And for someone like myself who's gone through it, we really appreciate you being a teacher now and also putting a light to it. And hopefully, there is just one person here that we've helped, and hopefully, that person will help another person and it will continue going down the line. So, I hope only good things for you, and we thank you for your time. We want to remind all of our listeners that this show is released on Thursdays weekly, and we also would love for you to subscribe to our show on both on YouTube and on iTunes. We'd love for you to please give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Tell us what we're doing right or wrong. Give us a comment. And we also would like to also remind everyone that we also have a movie review show that we broadcast onto this actual YouTube channel. And it's called The Movie Breakdown. And it is with my co-host, Yvonne Carlos. So if you're interested in getting our opinions on movies and just getting some more insight on how they shoot movies, my expertise as a photographer and my co-host's expertise as a trained actor would be a great way to just really break down some movies. So I hope you guys enjoy those as well. That said, I hope you guys all have a great day, and as always, stay tuned.